A very good morning to you. You're watching the Channel M Breakfast Show on Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Nikki Dean.
And I'm Byron Evans. And in a few minutes, all the latest sporting headlines with Will Perry, the talking shark, and plus business expert Kieran McGuire even will be giving us his predictions on the morning's interest rate announcement, which will be at 11 o'clock. But first, let's get today's headlines with James Webster.
Good morning. The top stories so far this Thursday. 5 members of the same family from Eccles have been convicted of cheating the benefit system of more than £130,000. Alan and Lorraine Peters were caught along with 3 relatives after a picture of them holidaying in Spain emerged while they were claiming they were too sick to work at a cleaning firm in Stretford. He said he couldn't leave home without an oxygen cylinder, and his wife said she had to walk with a stick and became breathless. The makers of Cristiano Ronaldo's Ferrari say it was working perfectly before his crash last month that wrote off the vehicle. The Manchester United player hurtled for 230 metres through a tunnel under a runway at Manchester Airport, bouncing off the walls in the £200,000 vehicle which he was driving for the first time. It was feared the brakes were knocked out by the initial impact, stopping the footballer, bringing it to a halt sooner. But the Italian car firm says that's not the case. Police will speak to him, and it's possible he could be asked to take a driving course rather than being charged with careless driving, which could mean points on his licence and a fine. Interest rates could be cut to a new low later. The Bank of England is expected to announce a cut from 1.5% to 1% when it announces its monthly decision at 12 noon. The reduction's being tipped by experts who say it's needed to try to get the economy going again. Police are looking for a woman originally from Wigan who's gone missing after being recalled to prison. Angela Roby, who's been convicted of supplying Class A drugs, had been released on licence but failed to keep in touch with her probation officer. She has a tattoo of Tweety Pie on her left arm and the name Harry, and sometimes goes by the name of Angela Gaskell. A gunman from Longsight has been jailed for 8 years after being tracked down by a trail of blood after he accidentally shot himself. Imran Khalik agreed to get rid of a semi-automatic pistol after it was used in a shooting at a house in Withington. Court heard how he shot himself in the thigh as he put the weapon in his jeans. His DNA was found in the blood left behind as he limped away. Now, there have been lots of stories of retailers struggling because of the recession, but in one part of Greater Manchester, sales are on the increase despite the tough times. Nina Warhurst's been finding out more.
The Lowry Outlet Mall in Salford is bucking the trend. It saw a 20% rise in shopper numbers in January compared to last year and an 18% rise in like-for-like sales. The centre manager says it's because lower interest rates are freeing up cash for some shoppers, and that as the belt gets tightened for others, cut-price retailers are feeling the benefits.
People are really trying to get value for money, and we did expect to see a drop really after that first week of Christmas, but it seemed to be what people did was they saved their money or got cash for Christmas, and the first week after Christmas was it was incredible. We had sales of 39% up on like-for-like.
Now, people might say, if things are going so well, how come there's 10 of your units sat empty?
Everybody can't have failed to see Woolworths and Zavvi, and as you'll have seen, Zavvi's one of our retailers, and unfortunately due to the economic downturn, we've got several other retailers who have been put into administration, but it's been across the country.
So sales are up here because at the moment we're spending more on budget goods and bargains, but just across from the Lowry Outlet Mall is the Lowry Theatre, where to their surprise and ours, they've been enjoying one of the busiest couple of months in their history. But why?
I mean, in a way, people always want to go out and have a good time. And if the product's right, they will come. And a lot of our product has been fun, entertaining, light-hearted. And I think in times when there's an economic downturn, people want to go out and have fun. So they will find the money to do that.
So it looks like more of you are heading to Salford to shop because you're looking for a bargain, or to use the theatres to just cheer yourselves up. Well, we want to know more about how your spending habits might be changing at the moment. So send us an email or give us a ring on the number below. Nina Warhurst, Channel M News.
That's all from me for this morning. I'll be back with the Channel M lunchtime news at 12 noon. Don't forget you can join Andy Crane as well at 5 tonight for all the latest from across Greater Manchester. Now, though, here's Byron and Will with the sport.
So apparently it's a done deal. John Terry is coming to Eastland in the summer. Gentleman's agreement, it's been signed, sealed, delivered, but I would never admit it on screen because obviously nothing official is...
Well, careful, because they're good.
Yet. Will, plenty of FA Cup action last night.
Straight out of RADA, that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thanks, fabulous stuff, that.
No, let's have a look at the results from last night, because we all know, we said all morning, ITV slip up during extra time of the Merseyside FA Cup derby.
What a shame.
ITV missed the goal. Some people saw it if you're watching through Skies. If you're watching terrestrially, you might not have got it. But Dan Gosling there, you can see their third result down. Got the winner 118 minutes, 2 minutes before time. And they'll play Aston Villa, you can see at the top, who beat Doncaster 3-1. Blackburn beat Sunderland 2-1. No, Rocky Santa Cruz goal. Benny McCarthy came on and got the winner there. They faced Coventry. Nottingham Forest, they lost. They were 2-0 up and lost 3-2 to Derby. Derby will go on and play Manchester United in the 5th round. Sean Wright-Phillips is facing a 3-match ban. He's been called up for violent conduct by the FA, so that's going to go to an appeal today. He's got, I think, 5 days to appeal on that one, but it looks like he's going to get a 3-match ban. At the back of the Manchester Evening News, Danny Sturridge has apparently going to sign a new contract with City. That's City's main target, to get him to sign that. Of course, Aston Villa were reportedly interested in him. We had Chelsea reportedly interested in him. So he looks to sign a new deal. That's their main objective. And in the Independent today, Manchester City youngster Michael Johnson, he's apparently considering a summer move away, of course, subject to an £8 million bid from Newcastle on the deadline day. David Beckham, he's got a get-out clause, apparently, because they're saying he's going to have to take a £10 million pay cut, a bit like I did to come on here this morning. But LA Galaxy, apparently he can leave at the end of November. Right. So if they want him, they can get him for free at that stage rather than pay money for him. Remains to be seen. Rubinho, I'd love to meet his translator, but he says he's going to become the best player in the world at Manchester City. But considering he can't speak a word of English, I don't know where that quote's come from. Manchester United, they're finally ready to sign Carlos Tevez, according to the Daily Mirror, for £30 million. John Terry, not a brilliant day for John Terry. This day last year, he was dropped as England captain. Steven Gerrard got I think he was injured at the time, but when they played Switzerland. Today he's been likened to a pre-op transsexual. Yes. And then also today...
Actually, I better leave the picture, to be honest.
We've done that.
All
we
we're
don't want to
saying
get in trouble.
Have a look at the Daily Star and the...
Page 8 of the Daily Star, check it out.
And the person pictured isn't John Terry, but the doppelganger. Fact.
On a completely different note, new Arsenal signing, Andre Arshavin has a double life as a dress designer.
Really?
Yeah, that's in the Daily Star as well, so they've got on a theme today, I think.
Who are you can trust that Bible?
Listen to this. In the Sun as well, have a look at this. A Manchester United groundsman, I don't think it's the head groundsman, but he's revealed how he once found one of the club's stars sunbathing on the pitch under the UV lights to try and get a suntan. The UV lights, of course, used to help the grass grow at Old Trafford. He found it. I can't think. Maybe it was David Beckham. We don't know. But he's found one of the players sunbathing under the lights there. Cricket. We've got to mention the cricket. Kevin Peterson, 3 short of a century. Flintoff's still in. That gets underway at 3 p.m. this afternoon. The horse racing, which we mentioned, has been called off. Huntingdon, so he's going to have to wait again. Tony McCoy for his 3,000th win over the jumps.
Now, let's talk about a worrying departure, potential worrying departure at Sale before we leave it.
Yeah, well, hopefully one that won't be going to Dwayne Peel. He starts for Wales against Scotland. But Luke McAllister may be going. Here's Kingsley Jones talking about whether he's going to stay, whether he's not. I asked him this after the Worcester game. They beat Worcester at the weekend. Here he is, Kingsley Jones.
I saw something the other day in the Rugby Times that, I wasn't sure what he was doing. Really, he wrote that because I was in the middle of a meeting and he started asking me questions about everything, and the first quote was, "Can I just have a quick word about Worcester?" And then he spoke this, then he spoke Luke McAllister. Listen, Luke McAllister, the situation is ongoing and it's really positive, and I'm really optimistic and hopeful about it. That's all I can say. I spoke with his father. We don't want to go. What you got to realise is anything we say over here is massive news in New Zealand regarding Luke McAllister.
They're paying me for this.
Yeah, well, it's true. The smallest thing they'll pick up on a website, and there'll be headlines in New Zealand. And we're happy. Luke's happy. We're ongoing, and we're going to hopefully get a conclusion in the next fortnight.
And just a quick reminder for you that Sale Sharks will be only on Channel M at 7 o'clock tonight. Now, the interest rates will be announced at 11 o'clock this morning. And joining me to discuss this further is business expert Kieran McGuire, even, I beg your pardon. Now, McGuire, don't want to put too much pressure on you, but you've been bob on with your predictions in the past. What are you saying about today?
0.5% off.
OK, most people are speculating it's going to go down to 1%. What are the repercussions if this does happen, first of all?
Well, if you've got a tracker mortgage, it's great news. If you're on a fixed rate or a variable rate mortgage, it's less certain. If you're a saver, it's going to be bad news. And the problem is that for every person with a mortgage, there's 6 people with a savings account. So, yeah, there's more losers than winners in many respects.
OK. A lot of criticism this week from the business community who was saying just let the interest rates cuts that have already been implemented sort of kick in before you use all your ammunition, I suppose. Is that a valid argument?
It is to a certain extent, but what we've got today, we've got a huge differential between what the bank lending rate is and the 1% rate is what the Bank of England will lend to banks, and then how much the banks themselves are lending to business. The Nationwide put up their overdraft rates this week. There's no point having cheap money if there's no money available, and the banks aren't lending. That's the problem. It's not the actual cost of debt, it's the amount of debt which is available, which is the issue. OK, so we think we're going to see 1% as a new interest rate as of this afternoon, I think so.
according to Kieran McGuire and many other experts this morning. Now, The Independent, we mentioned it a little bit earlier on. More bad news, I'm afraid, on the High Street. For sale, the British High Street says here, Icelandic group with major holdings in more than 20 chains faces meltdown. You can see some of the big names here, French Connection, Mappin and Ware, Hamley's Coast. I could keep going on. What's happening?
Well, what's happened is that this Icelandic company called Balga has bought into the UK high street by borrowing huge sums of money. Now, a lot of the money it borrowed within Iceland itself. Iceland has disappeared in many respects as far as the financial institution. So the banks are now demanding their money back from Balga. Balga doesn't have the cash because these companies aren't generating enough profits. So it's either going to have to put these companies into administration, or I suspect more likely is that they're going to have to sell them off cheaply to other retail chains.
OK, what are the repercussions then if they do that? Does that mean that we're going to see some of the high street branches closing? Are there going to be more job cuts, or is it likely that this move is going to try and keep them afloat?
I think that the weaker brands were going to struggle to find a buyer. The good brands, things like Hamley, French Connection, I suspect they will find. Philip Green, who is a big retailer, he's already been circling. He's a big shark, and he's going to go.
Mr. Topshop, isn't he? He owns the Arcadia Group.
Oh
right?
yes, yeah. He's got his hands in many places, and he's a very shrewd operator. So he'll pick up the best. What I'm concerned about is that the weaker brands could result in closure.
OK, let's hope they manage to find themselves a buyer. Kieran McGuire, thank you very much for joining us, as always, and we'll see you again very soon. Time now for a quick break. Coming next, we discuss the ancient art of eyebrow threading. Stick around, we'll see you shortly.